Hey everybody, Kevin Machado here with your summer market update as we take a look at all things real estate in St. Albert and Edmonton and the surrounding area. First off, I hope you're having an amazing summer. I hope you're getting to soak up all of these moments, eat ice cream, go for bike rides, get outside, enjoy everything that this beautiful weather in St. Albert and Edmonton has to offer, because we know these are short times. And whatever you're doing this summer, what are the things that you have started doing that maybe you can continue on for the rest of the year? Maybe it's wearing those Hawaiian shirts and you really want to wear a Hawaiian shirt and maybe that's it. Or maybe it's taking time, some extra time away from the busyness of work so that you're available to go hang out with your kids or your wife or your spouse or your partner or whoever that is. But what are these things that we can pull away from summer that we can bring with us all year round? Those things that make us feel light and free and give us meaning beyond just trudging through and getting to the end of the day to punch a clock and be done. So those meaningful things, what's something that you can pull away from summer and bring with you all year round? Maybe it's adding adventure to your life. Maybe it's setting that date night, or maybe it is taking that extra time to spend with your kids or with some friends. Whatever that is, I hope you're able to grab something this summer. For me, what I've been thinking about is how can I simplify my life even more to make it more meaningful and to serve more people in a better way. But now I want to take a look and see how our real estate market is doing. So as we look at our real estate market and how things have been coming along over the last month or so, we've been seeing some interesting trends. We've seen some pricing that's come down slightly, and then our inventory is maybe climbing, sales are maybe dropping. And we're seeing a little bit of that, but not quite the same as we're heading into this. And we're looking at last month's stats, so we're going back a month into June. So as we're looking at our inventory and our sales, we're sitting at 6,700 properties that are available. And that's up. The month previous, we're at 65. So we're seeing a little bit of an increase in our inventory, and then our sales slightly down month over month at 2,877. So we're seeing a little bit of the sales drop, a little bit of the inventory climb, and that's adding to those months of inventory. We're sitting at 2.4 months of inventory. So we're still in a seller's market. We're still in multiple offers very often, especially when we're buying in those hot zones that are going to be between that. The under 600 is really active. And then when you're pushing up to 800, we're still seeing some activity there. Other properties are ending up to sit on the market a bit longer if they're not marketed well, or if there's some issues with the home, or if the pricing is just wrong. And we've seen that as well. Now, when we look at our days on market, we're seeing our days on market are sitting at 29 days on market. That's the same actually as last year. So that's staying pretty steady. And that's for detached single family homes. And then when we get to pricing, this is the big thing. We're looking at our pricing. How has that been going over the last month? We're seeing our average price for a single family detached home. That's sitting at $574,000. So that's just down another 1%. So again, for the last few months, we've come down about 1% for those single family detached home properties in Edmonton surrounding area. And then year over year, that's still up 6%. They're still seeing that increase there. Semi-detached, half duplex style properties, those are sitting at $439,000, which is essentially flat from the month prior and is up 4% year over year. And then our row townhouse style homes, those are sitting at $309,000, which is up 1%, and year over year is up 7%. Our apartment style condos, those are sitting at $214,000, and month over month flat, 0%, year over year 1%. We're starting to see some stability. We're starting to see some leveling out. We're not jumping up 3 or 4% month over month. We're coming down significantly. We're seeing a bit of stability as things move through month over month. And I think we're going to continue to see that as we move through the rest of the year. As we look at St. Albert, what is St. Albert doing? We know there's some pocket communities in and around Edmonton that perform really well. My neighborhood here, St. Albert, where I live, is one of those communities. So what we're seeing currently as we sit today, we have 118 active single-family detached properties, 29 that are also pending. On top of that, last month was 117 active, and then 30 were pending. Sales are sitting at 100. So 100 sales, and that would be last month. And then when we look back at May, the month before that, there was 121 sales. And then last year, interestingly enough, we saw 121 sales as well. So Our sales are down a little bit year over year and month over month, they're down, but we're still seeing a lot of activity. The nice thing when we see sales that are at 100, that means everything is a percentage. So 58 homes sold that are under $600,000 in the St. Albert area. 600 up to 800, that's going to be 25. So again, the majority of the pressure, the majority of the sales are happening there. And then we even had some wonderful clients we were able to help that were upwards of mid $1 million. There was 6 properties that sold over $1 million last month. And then 800 to $1 million was 11 properties. Our days on market are sitting at 26 for St. Albert. Last month was going to be 22, and then last year was 26. So we're seeing some stability there, a little bit of an increase in our days on market, but our average price is sitting at $631,000 with a median price of $562,000. Last month we had $618,000 was the average price and a $560,000 median price. And that's up from last year. Last year we were at $583,000 for an average price, and $525,000 was median. So we've seen price increases significantly. We're seeing things still moving, and we had some big sales. There was the highest sale in St. Albert was $1.6 million in Kingswood on Candlewick, and then we had a low sale was $365,000 in Braeside. And what that gives us is our months of inventory. We look at our active properties divided by the sales, and that gives us a months of inventory of 0.84. That is a very active market. That means that sellers are putting their homes up for sale. They're going very quick. It's taking less than a month to gobble up all the inventory, as long as it's good inventory. And the month prior to that was 0.96. So we're still seeing pressure on buyers trying to purchase homes. What does this all mean? We've seen continued increases in value over the last year, year and a half. We're seeing some stabilizing, especially in the Edmonton area, where prices are starting to stable. St. Albert, things are still remaining strong, but still, I think we're going to continue to see more of this stabilizing, finding a level ground. It's kind of like finding a little bit of a new normal. We're into summer. The summer months generally are going to be a little bit slower as we look back. People go away for their summer. They do all their summer things, so it's not quite as active as our spring. And then September hits, and then we see a bit of a push there all the way until we get to -20. And hopefully that doesn't happen too soon. Those are our market stats that we're looking at. Let me know if you've got any questions. If you need some help or advice, or you're wondering, what can I do to help my property go up in value? It might just be a simple 1 or 2 things to fix, or it might mean doing something on the exterior home. Don't necessarily think doing a major renovation is going to get you a lot of return. Oftentimes we see those return 50 to 80% of your money back. So it's a losing cause. All right, my friends, have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.